Broadcasting from Silicon Valley, California, this is Conversations with Jennylyn.
You're watching Conversations with Jennylyn, and as I continue my COVID-19 World Interview Series, the beautiful woman on the other side of the camera today is Raphaella Scholiadis. Is that correct?
Scholiadis.
And she is a lawyer in South Africa. And I'm so grateful to her that she is willing to spend this time with us to talk about, COVID-19 and how it's affecting them in her part of Africa. Raphaella, welcome to Conversations with Jennylyn.
Thank you, Jennylyn, for having me, and it's only a pleasure.
I love the accent.
Yeah, South African accent is definitely different one, and I've heard that everyone around the world loves our accent the most, but I don't understand it. Doesn't sound like I have an accent, but
That's what everyone says whenever you speak to someone in another country, because we speak our language, we hear ourselves all the time. We hear the same thing. We're used to that sound. So it takes another person who hasn't heard it to really appreciate it. So
yeah.
You are a lawyer in South Africa.
I am. This is my third year as a lawyer. So you have to do 2 years of practical work, and then you get admitted as an attorney after those 2 years. So this would be then the first year of me not doing the practical work. So yeah, it was a really nice experience.
Are you a general lawyer, or what's your specialty if you have one?
So basically, the law firm that I work for, we did a lot of contracting with different companies. So a lot of like joint venture agreements and shareholder agreements, and also a bit of electronic and internet law. So we host thousands and thousands of files for other law firms when they do e-discovery at court. So what e-discovery is, basically you upload all your millions of documents that you need for a court case, and then you use the software that we provided for that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Sometimes we make a decision that we want to specialize in a particular field, and then after we start it, we discover, well, maybe I don't like it so much. Do you love law? Do you love what you're doing?
I do love law. I actually had studied a previous degree before my law degree. So I guess law was what I was passionate about. My first degree was journalism. And then after working a bit in the field, I decided that I didn't really enjoy it as much, and then I decided to study law. So I did love law so much. So currently I'm not working. As of the end of April, I started a bit of a pre-maternity leave in preparation for my babies on the way. So I've got twins on the way.
Congratulations!
Thank you. So I'm almost 8 months pregnant with twin girls. And yeah, so getting ready for them.
Wow! Do you have another month to wait?
So 5 more weeks, and then they'll hopefully be here. They must cook for all those 5 weeks. They mustn't come earlier.
I hope that they come exactly when you want them. And since you're having twins, I hope you don't have to wait around. Because sometimes you wait. Yes, well, good luck with that. I'm sure you're going to have beautiful baby girls. So what is the climate like in South Africa now with this COVID-19 pandemic?
So basically, our country took it head on. So as of 2 months ago, we went into a very hard lockdown, and basically the entire country was put at a standstill. So the only people that were allowed to leave their houses were essential workers, being medical professionals and grocery, pharmacy. I think that was about it, employees. And that was it. We all had to stay at home and work from home. There were curfews. You weren't allowed to leave your house between after 5 or 6 p.m. and before 6 a.m. And then, yeah, so it was pretty hectic because most of our population is immunocompromised, where we've got a really high rate of individuals that have HIV and TB, which obviously TB affects the lungs. So coronavirus being something that affects the lungs, our government decided to take it head on. So yeah, it was pretty hectic for a while. And then, so that was level lockdown 5. And then we went to a level 4 about, I would say 3 weeks ago, just to see how things were going. And nothing much changed other than the fact that we were allowed to exercise in the mornings between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. And then as of Monday, we go to level 3, and it's a lot less strict, where we're allowed to go and pick up food from restaurants. So that kind of, take on it. So, but it's been quite good for our country because we only have about 30,000 confirmed cases. And I think half of those, 30,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and half of those have recovered. And I think only about 600 people have passed away. So yeah, and as I'm sure as restrictions are easing up, that number will go higher. But basically, our country has now prepared for if it goes higher. So hospitals are ready. They've put massive buildings full of beds, and doctors are ready and waiting.
Great. It sounds like you guys have really taken charge early in the game. Do you, you say you have a lot of TB cases in South Africa where you live. Do you know if people were inoculated with the BCG shot?
Yes, so basically, when we're in South Africa, when we're born, we're required to get that shot. And basically, I think it's a government shot and they give it for free. And most schools actually don't allow children to attend the schools if you don't have that shot.
Well, I asked you because I grew up in South America and it was also mandatory there, and we were all given it before we went to school, and it leaves a mark, so you can't even question if you've had it. The evidence is left on the arm wherever it was administered. And I have been trying to figure out on my own as I do these segments, if there's some type of a connection between that shot and resistance to this corona. There have been no studies to prove there is, but there also hasn't been one that dispels that. Yes, so I'm still hoping at the end of this, because for the number of people in your country that were contaminated, a large percentage sounded like they recovered.
Yes, it's amazing that half of them have recovered already. And I have seen some articles about whether the vaccine is assisting in that, and maybe we're less prone to getting coronavirus. So yeah.
Oh, you have seen some studies? At the end of this interview, would you send those to me, please? I'm very interested in this connection. I don't know why. I think part of it is because the people in South America that I know were given this vaccine, these are third world countries, and they have handled this virus better than we have here in the US in terms of deaths, the fatalities. And so I'm trying to be my own investigator to see what the common thread is in the countries where people are doing better than Italy and the US and Russia, and the countries that are taking a hard hit. I think one of the things that I have noticed also, in addition to the fact that the people of the countries were given the BCG shot is the fact that they've taken the quarantine very seriously. How are people responding to the mandatory quarantine in your country?
Responses to it. You've got persons on the one hand who are really appreciative of it. So I happen to be in that category where I'm pregnant, and I was lucky enough that I was able to work during the lockdown, as well as my husband was able to work. So we were quite fortunate in it, and basically we didn't have a problem with it, but we did acknowledge the fact that some people were not able to work. Some people had to lose their jobs, their salaries were cut. And so I can understand why they were quite, resentful of the fact that our country decided to go on a hard lockdown. Also, we've got a lot of people that already in the first place did not have jobs. So the rate of people that have gone hungry and cannot sustain themselves is pretty high in South Africa. And people believe that the virus killing people versus the people dying from hunger was, you kind of just needed to weigh up, and they thought that hunger was going to be worse than the virus. So I can understand both sides, and I can appreciate the fact that, our government decided to take it head on, because what else could they have done? Nope, you can't make everyone happy.
No, that is very true. But have they had any programs in place to substantiate, incomes or provide food for those people? Did your government have any sort of assistance for them?
Yes, so they put quite a few things in place where, so it's an unemployment insurance fund that you could apply to, and basically the government would supplement some of your salary, as well as give small businesses some relief. And so they did have a few things in place. Here in Cape Town, where we stay, they made a plan for homeless persons where they set up a few hundreds of shelters with tents and food packages in in large area spaces, and they have been doing that. So they have taken, trying to take care of people.
That's really great. So you are in Cape Town. What's the weather like there now?
So we're supposed to be in winter. Today was quite a hot day, but the past week it was raining and freezing at 11 degrees. I'm not sure what that is Fahrenheit. So it's getting quite cold here. But Cape Town is like a different part of South Africa. It has its own weather. And in the summertime, our sun goes down at like 8, 9 o'clock, but the rest of South Africa, it's normal, 6, 7 p.m. So yeah.
What does it mean for a pregnant woman during this crisis? Are you able to go see your doctor for your normally checkups? Because I know doctors are seeing their patients virtually, but as a pregnant woman with twins, don't they need to physically see you? How does that work?
So basically, I have been going to my antenatal checkups. It has been quite strict where they are only seeing their pregnant patients, so nobody else is allowed to come in there. My husband hasn't been able to come into the practice as well. So when my doctor scans me, we just FaceTime each other, and he can be there in the scan virtually. So my doctor has been seeing her patients, and all my pregnant friends, they have also been able to go and see their doctors. But with that said, it's been really strict, and when we give birth, our partners can be there, but most hospitals require for them to leave about 2 hours after the birth. So if I'm in hospital for say 2 or 3 days, then I'm going to be there by myself with my babies, and then only my husband can come back when he comes and fetches me. So
how do you feel about your first baby being your first experience having two babies in one hit? Are you excited? How do you feel about that whole notion? Well, not notion, but how do you feel about that? Because that's what's going to happen.
I got two for the price of one. So we have been wanting babies from the first year that we got married. So we're pretty excited. And even though some may feel overwhelmed that they're having twins, we can't think of anything better.
Yes, both of you will have a baby to take care of simultaneously. And both parents will have to get involved with this.
Exactly. My husband is mostly excited about the fact that he never has to let go of a baby because he'll just play with one all the time.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So you are not concerned about when it's time to give birth, about being in your hospital or any of that?
So I am concerned about them and about myself getting corona, but they have been really strict, and from all the hospital experiences that I've heard people have had, in the private hospitals that is, I'm not sure how it's been in the government hospitals, I haven't heard any horror stories of anybody getting the virus or their babies or anything like that. So I'm pretty comfortable. And also they are only admitting patients that have emergencies, so no elective procedures. So the hospitals are quite empty, which is a good thing.
Good, because we want you to be safe, you and those two little girls. Can you share a little bit with us about your distance learning and how your government is providing education for young children and people from educational institutions at this time?
So I don't know too much about it, but I do have 3 little cousins. One is in matric, so that's grade 12, and the others are in grade 5, and they have been attending classes via Zoom, and they do activities every day, and so that started from weeks ago. So I think the lockdown happened 2 months, and then about 2 weeks later, then distance learning started. So they kind of took it head on. And I actually think they're opening up the schools as of level 3 on Monday. I'm not actually quite sure how they're going to do it. I think they are only letting a few students in who really need it, like the matric students. But yeah, I think they will be making a plan. But with that said, I'm not sure about the government schools, what they have been doing, because the problem is not everybody has an electronic device that they can attend a Zoom call on. So we'll even have internet connection. So yeah.
How about masks? Is it mandatory that you wear masks when you go out, masks and gloves? It is.
Yes. So masks are mandatory, gloves aren't. They actually, some grocery stores even say that you shouldn't wear gloves inside because it's more, you can spread more by having gloves on. But some people still wear them, but yeah, we have to wear masks, as well as when we exercise in the mornings. So you have to wear a mask while running, for example.
Oh, so you're actually allowed into a gym? You have gyms that are open?
No, just outside. So you're only allowed to walk, run, or cycle.
Okay. I noticed that both countries have done almost the exact same thing, except some countries seem to have taken the quarantine, you know, they're very strict about it, while others aren't so much. And you can see the countries that didn't take it seriously, they've had a lot more fatalities and a lot more contaminations. What have you learned about you during this crisis? I mean, you have a lot of new stuff going on. 2 babies, corona, and it's a new law career. So what have you learned about you?
love my house. I actually have no problem being in lockdown. My husband and I were made for being stuck at home. We have no problem whatsoever. We love being in each other's spaces, and he works all day, so it's not too much in each other's spaces. But yeah, I am a homebody, and we were watching a movie the other day where they were talking about their favorite day. How would you describe it? And then I paused the movie and looked at my husband. I was like, I just thought of my favorite day, and it was waking up a little bit late and then spending time at home and watching a movie and eating popcorn. So it hasn't, that's what I've learned about myself, that I'm actually quite a homebody.
And what have you observed about the people in your community? I mean, we hear a lot of stories about different challenges that they've had in South Africa. But what have you observed, or what have you observed about the people in your community with this particular pandemic?
So in the area that we live in, I've learned that people are quite, they're adhering to the rules. Nobody is trying to find loopholes or anything like that. So I have learned that my particular area, they do take it seriously. As for other parts of Cape Town, I can't really advocate for them. And I find that they do try to find loopholes. So one thing is the selling of cigarettes has actually been banned in the country since the lockdown. And we found that there has been a lot of illegal selling of cigarettes. so I do know that is happening. But I mean, the numbers speak for itself, and I see that the community, they have taken it seriously, and I can respect my fellow neighbor, for taking it seriously, which means that they're protecting me and I'm protecting them.
Yeah, do you know what, because I've interviewed someone else from South Africa who's living in Australia, and he mentioned this banning on cigarettes. Could you share with us the reasoning behind that?
So I actually think it's quite crazy that they've banned cigarettes. Because
I'm asking you.
So I understand maybe it came from in level 5 when the lockdown was at its strictest. Can understand maybe they didn't want unnecessary production of cigarettes. So the warehouses needed to close down. So from that point of view, and maybe because it affects the lungs.
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
Yes, so I can understand from that respect, but also smoking of cigarettes is an addiction. And if
you're already putting people on lockdown, and now you're taking away their cigarettes. They must be climbing the walls.
My goodness, if a day goes by that I don't see a post on Facebook about someone complaining that they don't have cigarettes, then that day will snow. So in that respect, I don't understand. And also the problem is that in the township areas where they can't afford cigarettes in the first place, and that means that they're sharing their cigarettes, the supply that they have, which means that what's the point? You're sharing. Exactly. It's a crazy concept to me, and I really do feel sorry for people that do smoke. We don't smoke, so we never had a problem with it. But yeah, don't understand.
Do you know how long they're going to have this ban in place? Do you know how long it's going to be before they remove it?
My goodness, I can only guess. Must be a little bit longer, because they also banned the selling of alcohol. And I know, but that's why I understand more than cigarettes, because alcohol, the amount of, so I have a few really close friends that are doctors, and they say the emergency rooms are empty. There's no drunken fights, there's no stabbings, there's no car accidents, and that is directly correlated with alcohol. So I understand that one, but with level lockdown 3 coming in on Monday, they're allowing the selling of alcohol but not cigarettes. So, so it might still be another month.
So what is lockdown 3? What's lockdown 3 gonna be? They're opening back up. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So lockdown 3 is, so right now we're allowed to order takeout with food, for example, but we're not allowed to go and pick it up. So they can only deliver the food to us. So the change in that respect is that we can go and pick up the food now, but obviously not sit down. And more businesses are allowed to open up, so our economy can get started again. And they're allowing us to exercise at any time of the day now. So it's not too different from 4, but yeah.
Wow, it's just interesting, you know, as I do these interviews, I ask these questions because I'm looking to see what one country has done that maybe another country could try and it would help them. But I guess the ban on cigarettes and alcohol was mentioned to me by the South African I interviewed earlier, and I can't wrap my head around the reasoning behind it. I get that cigarette smoke and the lungs and COVID-19 attacks the lungs. I get that, but you can have people smoke it responsibly and say you can only smoke it in your home.
Exactly. I agree with you. Shame. I just imagine how crazy people have been going at home. They're in the house already and they just want to release, but they can't have it.
Oh, well, I hope that they change that very soon. And for you, you're not going back to work until you've had your babies, clearly. When does your maternity leave begin?
So it kind of is, I'm just going to play it so you can take up to 6 months maternity leave in South Africa. So I'm just going to see how it goes up until the end of the year, because I mean, having twins, it's going to be a lot to take care of. So I'm just going to play it by ear, how I feel afterwards.
Okay, now your parents are Greek, right?
Yeah, so they are Cypriot, which is based in Greek as well. So Cyprus and Greece are 2 different countries, but they have the same national anthem.
Ah, and you were born in South Africa.
Yes.
And do you like living there? Do you like living in South Africa?
South Africa. So most of my life I lived in Johannesburg, and then my husband's work required him to move to Cape Town. So we moved here about 4 years ago, and I never want to leave. Cape Town is so beautiful, and it's just it's like you're in Europe on holiday every day, and not sure if you've seen pictures of it. I'm in awe every day of its beauty. Obviously, it has its downfalls, like every other country. Crime is a problem in South Africa as a whole, and you fear for your safety sometimes, but in the area that we live in, it's not too bad, and you know what to do and what to look out for, and you're not affected by it. So I wouldn't leave. I love this place.
Oh, that's great. But how is it different from Johannesburg, where you were raised?
Johannesburg is, so first of all, it doesn't have a sea. So it's like, it's a city, and it's all about work. And I don't know, I just feel like in Johannesburg, it's quite a confined place, and I never felt safe in Johannesburg at all. I would constantly be on edge, and it just wasn't a healthy environment to live in. And I only realized this once I moved to Cape Town. And yeah, but my parents still live in Johannesburg. I wish they'd move here. And yeah, so I think that's the biggest difference was the crime.
How long have you been living in Cape Town?
Almost 4 years.
4 years. Oh, yeah. So that's long enough to know and to see the difference. What does your husband do there?
He is in fintech, so he's a partner at a fintech company, and his company is actually in Johannesburg, but he works remotely in Cape Town.
Okay. What message do you have to leave for my viewers? What do you want to leave with them? Anybody watching this segment?
The best thing is to remain positive in this time. I know it's difficult said than done, but take it from someone who's bringing 2 babies into this world in 5 weeks' time. And I have managed, obviously I get sad sometimes and I think of the state of our world, but remaining positive and thinking that we will survive, we will get through this. And I wish you all the best of luck and keep safe.
I am so grateful to you, Raphaella, that you took the time out to do this segment with me and to share a little bit about South Africa with us. I would like to visit one day. I've always wanted to visit Africa. I'm not sure where God will open the door for me to go, but I'm looking forward to visiting sometime, and hopefully it's where you live.
Please do. It's you won't regret it, and we get a lot of visitors from around the world in Cape Town especially, so I hope you do one day.
Well, good luck with the babies. I'll be staying in touch, and I hope everything goes well and they come before, not after, because it's no fun waiting around with 2 babies. Please continue to enjoy your weekend and stay safe.
Thank you so much, Jennylyn. Stay safe to you too.
Thank you. And thank you for watching Conversations with Jennylyn. When a conversation is all you need to be inspired, like the one I just shared with Raphaella. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much.